Yo, dogs.
Morning.
Hello.
What am I looking at with Hans?
Hans, that's either a ceiling or a wall.
Sorry. Oh,
I just
he's
like how
alive.
confusing that angle was. It was.
It
pretty
was.
great.
I was like, that could
like,
be a lot of different things.
The camera got knocked back on my monitor.
Cool. Sweet. DSU.
Yep. No George today. Tyson wants to be part of the design conversation today, so we should probably get off stream before that.
We should also ask him whether or not we should record it. He is in one of our YouTube videos, but I'm not sure how much he loves that or not.
Saw that.
Oh,
Does
that's a
he
good
know
point.
that he's on the internet?
His wife liked the video and left a comment on Facebook, so yes, I think so.
Yikes. or we're in the process of ruining a marriage. No, I'm just kidding.
On that note, Brandon, want to go first?
Sure. All right. What did I do yesterday? I had the design meetings in the morning. Spent some time going over what I had designed for factions. Then I had a really big meeting with Will, where I kind of blew that up, but got what is a distinctly don't make that face, Will. You know what we did. You know what you did. Had a very good discussion about that experience and realized, oh crap, we made it too complicated again. So spent the rest of that afternoon redesigning it, but I think it's a much better system and is going to be much easier to implement. It'll probably hit a lot of the tones that we want. Though I do think I backtracked on some of the simulation stuff that we had discussed, mostly because I don't think I can do it justice, or I don't think we can do it justice in the time we have. And then I spent the rest of the evening deciding that I'm gonna be a Legends of Runeterra pro. So, see y'all later.
Good job.
Gonna go grind that out.
I want to hear everything about it.
Did they
I
set?
was go ahead.
I was gonna ask. Do you know if they set it where just former rioters basically just get auto in? Because like I went to the thing to sign up and it was like, oh, you sign up and it will eventually tell you whether, and it's just like, here, download it. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm not sure, but every former rioter I know has gotten in. So I'm like, I don't think it was intentional, but I also think that as the person that was responsible for a lot of that back end work, I have a feeling that like a flag got flipped somewhere and just that all happened. So,
Better than Hearthstone. Hearthstone Destroyer.
It has more depth than Hearthstone. Although the one thing on stream, I was watching a stream from the official Riot, and they were doing something with like a spell called Denial, and they're like, "Look at how cool this mechanic is." I'm like, "It's a fucking counter spell. Like, don't sit here and talk." Don't talk that this is some like crazy new unique thing.
No.
Like,
Riot
it literally is just an MTG counter spell.
Riot invented it.
It is.
Riot
I mean,
invented
it's
it.
an MTG counterspell, but it's the first time that we've seen in digital like a real counterspell.
No, it's not. We've seen it in
Arena.
Arena is
like MTG.
every
Sure.
Yeah. This is not a unique thing.
Every
I'm not challenging that it's unique, but I mean like the first counterspell outside of MTGA, right? Like
I think some of the other earlier digital TCGs had counterspells.
Yeah, they do. Like the Elder Scrolls Legends totally had stuff like that, and like exactly. But there's been quite a few digital CCGs.
Yes. If all you've ever played is Hearthstone and Magic, it's a revolutionary mechanic.
I mean, I played Shadowverse and a bunch of the other ones, but
Shadowverse is pretty.
I mean, Shadowverse is pretty complex, but also is not as interactive as MTGA.
Yeah.
Do you
Anyways.
have to build a deck?
I've been playing. Played a lot of this game. It's probably why I didn't feel so good this morning.
So it does have deck building. I'm out.
It does. It does.
Oh.
I mean, it's a CCG. That's,
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is not what you want it to be. Which
It's
is
not
that one game.
wildly
Exactly what I wanted to
It's
be.
wildly divergent from Magic or Hearthstone or anything. It very much sits still in those categories.
Yeah, it's not
probably
Keyforge Online.
Closer to Magic than Hearthstone.
Yeah.
With some simplifications and niceties added.
Yeah.
But
If Hearthstone is
if you
zero
know Magic, you know that.
yeah. If Hearthstone is 0 and MTG is 1, this is definitely like 0.75.
Yeah.
But
I
the
totally
tempo, like it has a lot more tempo play than either of those games, which is really fun.
Cool.
Anyways,
What are you doing today?
so today, I'm gonna
agree.
go
It
through
shouldn't
the.
be playing Runeterra.
I'm not playing. Just calm down. All right, we have the faction design time this morning. That I'm really excited for. Have inbox clearing for all of the key requests. Looks like we
Give me a
actually
key. Give me a key. Give me a key.
yeah, or it's like beep boop, give me key, beep.
Beep
So we
boop.
have
Google
that.
Translate.
Let's see, what do I have in the afternoon? Oh, I do need to edit the videos. I didn't get that done because I did the faction redesign. Product owner, sprint prep, and then a one-on-one with Carl. So yeah, that's midday. So yeah, Will.
Me. Yesterday I finished Power as a gate. So that should be in and functioning. And if you could validate it today, Ant, make sure it's working the way you expect it to. I had an incredibly long conversation with Brandon.
It wasn't like incredible.
You're talking to a programmer. Any conversation more than 5 minutes is an incredibly long conversation.
I think it was 2 hours.
It was an hour.
No, it wasn't.
It was
We
totally
started
an
at-
hour.
We started at like 2:15 and ended at 4.
We started at like 2:45 and ended at like
The-
3:45.
Okay, like this does not matter.
It was a long conversation. It was a good conversation. I really liked it. It was a fun conversation. Anyways, video games. What am I talking about?
Jesus.
I am Bugzar, so I priority listed. I put numbers next to all the bugs. And I moved a bunch to the bug backlog that were 3s. And then I'm gonna, I don't know, after stand up or maybe during stand up, I'm going to start assigning these to people and telling them if they are Pri 1s. And you should be working on them above your work. I also went through all of the content that George wrote up and put an implementation difficulty column next to them where it says easy, medium, or hard. And then I figure from that, someone who cares can figure out what we should do for our content patch on Monday or next week whenever we're doing our content patch. And then with our powers combined, we can create it. I'm not doing the work to implement it until someone tells me which ones to implement, though.
Is that something we'll go over today in the product owner meeting? Okay.
I believe there is a task in the board that someone is an owner of that is about managing the content patch. I'm
Yeah.
like 80% sure.
Yeah, me and Anthony are working on some product vision stuff for that, but we can figure that out today for sure.
Cool. So yeah, I've done everything I can do there. Today I had 2 things I wanted to work on. One was Brandon's gonna give a bunch of faction stuff. Nope, that was the one thing. The other thing was writing down the difficulty of the things. I already did that. Yeah, so I'm gonna work on the faction stuff when Brandon gets that in, and maybe some bugs.
Hey Patrick, thanks for hosting again.
Hans.
So I was out yesterday. So my deal today is trying to get caught up. You guys have a lot that has started moving since Monday, so I was feeling a little fire hosey this morning, trying to figure out where things were. But I think I'm starting to get a fairly good idea. My week is still going to be kind of unstable. So I may be a little bit flaky in the morning.
Am I back? Was that everyone?
Yeah, I think that was everyone.
Am I back? Was that everyone?
Yeah, I think that was everyone.
So did any of my update come through?
No.
Got caught up.
It flickered the moment you started your updates. Because you
And like everyone froze.
Yep.
At first I thought because it was like you're like something's gonna be my time is gonna be sketchy, and then it froze, and I responded with like your internet connection, and then I realized everyone was dead.
Oh, we missed your zing.
Yeah, so the rest of my week is going to be a little bit sketchy. I have a call with the insurance company later today.
Well, this is great. Yep. Oh. Yeah. So now you just get to listen to me, because I think I'm still coming through on stream. It's just all of Discord that is dead. Yay, Discord. Like, normally Discord is really stable, and then every once in a while it does this.
alrighty.
I give up.
It's correct.
Done for the day. No,
I absolutely give up.
Cool, who's going next?
I choose Carl.
Let's see. Yesterday, I had a couple meetings out of the office. One with just a random other vaguely indie developer, and then one with my buddy Ali from former Riot. Then outside of that, I was mostly doing social media intern stuff, and then writing the document for release stuff. And I think that's most of what I did yesterday. Today, design time and making sure Tyson is armed to go through and do stuff. And then wherever I can help on design or pushing stuff forward, I'll probably jump in there. I don't know that I have anything specific outside of the one-on-one with Brandon really for today. So, yeah. Is that no Anthony?
Yesterday was design time in the morning, and then generating the branch. So you can look at where it's at right now, Hans. It's created a new, branched it into a releases in search, and then it just has the version number as the top folder. We can move stuff around or create a different branch in the future. I don't care. It's a branch. It's easy.
It doesn't really matter. It'll work fine. Yeah.
Yeah. But
did you happen to fire off a label too?
I haven't put a label on it, but we can label where the change list.
Yeah, it'd be good to label it before we make any changes to it, just so that we always have the change list reference to the beginning of the branch.
Yeah, that'll be easy enough. Yeah, I can do that. So did that, and then from Design Times wrote up a more detailed design spec on the work necessary for the resource changes going in, which we can briefly bring up after this. But spent most of the day working on that and thinking through all the places that it touches and what would need to be changed. So that was yesterday. And Carl went over the doc that he wrote on the cadence stuff for releases. Today is more design time on factions, going through that. Whatever Pry 1 bugs I need to take on. And break out from this conversation on the resources, ideally what tasks we would want to put into the sprint, and then I probably will start working on some of them.
Cool. Do we want to go over the Pry 1 bugs here while we're doing this stuff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Go, Czar, go.
Ran into an
Bugs
odd
are-
situation where I had a request from House Faction to jump out of a system within a certain time. I did, but the mission failed anyway, and that faction mutinied. I would like to put Ant on this because I think you worked on the quest system the most.
Which one was it?
Ran into an odd situation where
Oh.
House Faction jump.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one I've tried to repro it. I'll try again.
Could you write in the comments in the future when you try to repro something in camp? So
Yeah,
we have a list of those things.
you were
happening.
out. We were talking about it during release stuff, so
Sweet.
I don't.
Still good
I
to throw it
thought
in.
I don't know why this was even probably left there, or to track, I guess.
If you can't repro it again, knock it to a 3 and we'll throw it in the backlog.
Yeah.
Clicked on an A system for a jump, showed up in a system with 6 objects and no gas giants. I'd like to put this on George.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that this will get easier. There's the task for the debug thing, and I assume he'll do that first, and then this will be nice and easy. User got not enough star names as their star name. I get this like 100% of the time. So I would
Yeah.
like-
It's if you keep the game. I don't know what it is. It's what the star name. It's if you keep the game running, either in editor or if you have a standalone build and you keep it running and start new runs over and over and over. Eventually, it just runs out of star names to give because it never resets the
Doesn't
pool.
actually collect it. You could clean it up.
Yeah.
Well, that shouldn't be too hard to clean up. I can take this one.
I think
Okay,
that will
that's-
happen. Does that happen with captain names too, potentially?
There is a name thing that I built that is progressive where it never uses the same one twice. I don't think it's captains. And that system does reset successfully on game ends.
On game ends. Okay.
So there is a place for it.
Maybe this just needs to be migrated over.
I think it just needs to be cleared in the same location.
Oh, okay. All right.
So
Yeah.
there, like every time you use a name, you put it on this list so it won't get used again. And then you just need to clear that list. Okay, so that's all the Pry 1s. I don't think we need to do Pry 2s, do we? Because those are
No.
supposed to be beneath. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's fine. I did add detail to that bug that you asked me to add detail to.
I have not looked at it yet.
Yeah. I will say I haven't seen it. I just remember the context that it came up, and it came up twice, and so I just wrote notes on that. While we're here, do we also want to go through the design resource stuff and talk about turning it
Yes.
into tasks? Because that's stuff that may affect this sprint, and then also will affect product owner planning later. So.
Okie dokie.
There it is.
Oh, it's a surprise. Sorry.
Cool. Talk, Anthony.
Yeah, so the spec. From what we had discussed yesterday, path forward, we need to do resource changes. So changes to the subtypes. I have it all listed out here. It should be enums, not text strings for that, because we will likely be changing what the different names are over time, I bet. So, and I don't really care what it displays to the user as. It doesn't matter. So there's the task to do the resource pools changes so that resource pools know about metal of such type. It's either multiple resource pools or it's one resource pool that now can keep track of individual types. That needs to be done. Changing the data UI display to the user. I have some idea of keep it high level categories with tooltips to show subs. Then we need to change celestial object types. Celestial objects JSON changes to the subtypes for whatever we choose. Color code rarity, I already know you can do that with some rich text widgets and some data, where I've been just the same way that we do it for like when you can't build something or is there a cost that you don't have. Simple system now. Exploiting, ideally color coding dubers, the life support change, and then installation changes is probably the one that would take longer because we want to go into the upgrade paths. Actually, that should say work on designs. Design upgrade paths. That's a new design where we need to go in and just go through the installations and think of multiple. If an installation has multiple upgrade paths or not, and if it does, what those resource costs would be, depending on the type of resource you want to use. Installation to create the synthetics of different types, and then go in and adjust costs and consumptions once we have those pieces. So from looking at this, I feel like this sprint we could do the base resource changes and the resource changes, probably the celestial object changes. Likely the life support's pretty easy after that. From a behind the scenes, again, this has some UI elements to it as well. Like, how do we want to reprioritize that list on the side there? Add some new rows, swap stuff around. Not hard, but it does take UI work because I think that's pretty fixed right now.
Well, and I think that it's very placeholder. Like,
Okay.
it is it's a solution for where we were. I don't think it's the solution we would like.
It's not an ongoing. Like,
Yeah,
not
I don't think so. I don't think this is something we iterate on unless literally it is very small change we think are functional based on where it is. I think we need to spend a little bit of time talking about what is our what is our sort of UX analogy that we're going to go for, and then sit down and talk about each of these sections long term, because we're getting to the point now where we're 2 or 3 sketches in and none of the sketches match anymore.
Yeah.
So we need to come up with a good consistent UX analogy and then rework all these. So this might be a good trigger for it.
This is, and I would say do that, and I'll add that task. So UI UX changes for, and so the thing is that can be done. The subtype stuff can be added, even if we don't use any of it right now.
Yeah,
like
totally.
It can just be flavor. Like you can see that you have refined metals and rare metal. It just doesn't matter. Like that's easy to change. So I do feel like a lot of that piece can just be done behind the scenes, even before we put a UX to it.
Yep.
So I would still advocate for going in and starting to do that work, while having a UI UX conversation on like how do we actually want to show our resources.
So what I would sort of say is let's get a card going for the resource changes. And I don't know if it is one card that one story that sort of encompasses all of that, or if we want to break out some of the UI UX stuff separately. But I think that is a shoe-in for this sprint. I think the other changes, we should make the cards into sprint planning. And if we end up at a place where we can pull in celestial object changes, like if resource changes goes through pretty fast and we can bring in celestial object changes, then like we shouldn't feel bad about bringing work forward and adding to the sprint where we have capacity. But I'd rather do it where it's in the sprint planning, and pull it in versus sort of half commit to it now, you know.
Yeah.
Does that align for other folks? Cool. So, Ant, why don't you plan on adding those stories very quickly with what's listed in resource changes? Do we want to give it a story point value?
Yeah. Well, I will probably say then let's make the UI UX is a separate card.
Yes.
So don't rate that into this right now.
And And that card should be broken out into two. That should be broken out into a UX design process and a UX implementation process. It's two separate things.
Yeah. So we're going to vote right now on just the resource changes, not including any of the UX and UI work.
Just the back end.
So just the back end stuff.
Okay.
Everyone feel like they have the information they need to vote?
No, I thought we were done with the back end stuff.
Not at all. There are tasks here that are not at all. Like, that's what's written here. Resource pools don't track this kind of subtype stuff. They don't.
I thought you said they did. I thought they
No.
had.
No,
Okay.
that is just flavor text that does it is literally just flavor that is completely
Ephemeral.
yeah, basically.
Okay.
Because they didn't, yeah. So that whole thing needs to be done. Anything here actually is stuff that has to be done.
And it's all the work itself in terms of the changes across each of the resource types is the same work effectively. It's just across the different pools, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Ready?
3, 2, 1.
Got an 8, a 5, and 8 and 5s. Two engineers are on opposite numbers. Fight!
I was between 8 and a 5. I'm okay.
Resource pool bugs are very hard to track down, very hard to fix, very pernicious. We've been dealing with them forever.
That's a strong argument.
Yes.
I'm fine with it being an 8.
Okay.
The difficulty in validation. Wait.
Cool. So we'll get that in, and then in product owner stuff, we can prioritize the other changes and potentially size them so that if we want to bring them in, we can. And so that should be good for that. Do we want to do any playtesting, or is there anything else we need to do? Sort of stand up, clean up, hygiene wise.
Do subtypes even make sense without celestial object changes?
I mean, I think it's about doing the back end work, but not necessarily exposing and using it yet. But we need to implement it in general. It's just we would implement it, and then it won't be exposed to the player until we actually make the changes all the way through, right?
Yeah. Metal would still just be able to be metal, but it would behind the scenes know that it was more than just metal.
Well, then we need to at least add something to a cheat menu to be able to add it, because I don't know how you implement a backend thing without testing it unless we're going to do unit testing. And we've never done unit testing before. I don't know how you change backend code without testing it. We'll need a way to be able to get it.
To get it how? Like I can just go test. I can check to make sure that the stuff is there and that none of the systems are breaking. Like resources just work like they do now.
Okay, I mean, if I was working on this, I would not feel at all comfortable writing a bunch of code that was never touched and then pushing it. Personally, I think that code needs to be unit tested, or it needs to be in the game being touched by systems so that I can check to see that it's working and prove to myself that it is a functional system before I would push it.
How am I not testing it?
If we put in a subtype system and there are no subtypes in the game anywhere, and there's
No,
no way to get
subtypes are still
subtypes.
gonna be given. They're not gonna be UI displayed to the player. Like we will see this working.
How are you going to get them?
I guess there is the thing with the celestial objects. Then they are adding those subtypes. The subtypes the celestial objects have right now are there. We never store them anywhere. They don't go anywhere. We just grab them and then they're like, oh, it's just metal anyway. Just put it in metal. I'll just actually be tracking that at this point.
Okay, if it's already there, then cool.
UI UX resource information.
Cool. Do we want to do a playtest? Do we have stuff that is worth playtesting? I mean, I sort of feel like playing the game on stream is worthwhile in a general sense anyway. But I don't know
Energy
what you guys.
gating is in.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see. I need to play that part anyway.
Cool. Let's load it up then.
Do it up.
Discord cutting out for everybody.
As bugs are, I will be writing down bugs.
Okay.
But first, I'm going to bio.
Why czar? Like why are we calling
This is
it
a
czar?
communist dictatorship. Y'all knew that when we joined it.
I mean, especially if it's being run by Will.
Yeah, when do we actually get to set the government type for the fleet?
No.
Well, that's funny that you should mention.
Oh Jesus.
We'll talk about that more in our faction update.
Why did you go into marketing voice for that?
I don't know, dude. I've had very little sleep. I'm over caffeinated, and my body hurts a lot.
How
probably take
late?
some
How
pills.
late did you play?
So I decided I wouldn't stop playing until I lost a game. So
Were you playing
stayed
real
until,
humans?
like-
Or do they have
yeah,
real humans in there?
PvP's
Okay.
up. Yeah. So I finished the tutorial. I started playing it around like 6:30, and so I went to sleep at 2.
Wow, you played our game that much?
Wrong game.
Damn it.
Well, let me tell you, I've also played In Search of a Home quite a lot.
As a side note, watching Patrick play our game is interesting, and everyone who hasn't done it should do it. And also, I think our game should be maybe 10-20% slower than it is. It makes me anxious how anxious he gets with regards to time. And I don't feel like our goal is to create an anxious game. We're not making an RTS.
Yeah.
It's true.
I don't think we want an anxious game. And so like having maybe slowing it down and having multiple speed up options or something eventually would be a thing.
No, we talked about this yesterday, we being Will and I had a solution to reduce the burden of, actually not the burden, but the way that you think about the problem of getting into a system. So right now, I think a lot of that kind of optimization or feeling of need for optimization, like clicking high APM to scan things as fast as possible, is because your decision making when you first enter a system is very basic, or like there's no real problem to solve usually. You're just like, you already know what you're going to scan. So when we do the faction design rework, one of the things that I want to do is make quests mutually exclusive and usually about order of operations. It's usually going to be about the first thing that you decide to do. So if they're mutually exclusive and it's about the first action that you perform within a system, it'll cause players to pause, like think about what they're trying to do in a strategic sense with the factions, and then decide on their first course of action. And though the clicking may still be hectic from there, it's still a divergence from the idea that you need to optimize your initial clicks. What I like to describe as the 3-2 SCV split from StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
If we reduce that and like have it be more of a strategic decision than just like a tactical execution the moment you get into a system, it should alleviate some of that kind of anxiety.
Cool.
I don't know if that's true. It's just all me. Shut up.
I mean, there's part of it that I don't disagree with. I think some of it is also just being comfortable with the systems, and so slowing things down with experienced players having ways to ratchet it up, I think is good. But yeah, like anything we can do to make players try to pause and solve a tactical problem versus, oh god, I need to have all 5 ships doing a thing as soon as possible, I think will help.
Well, and I think to Brandon's point, the reason that Brandon feels that way is because there is not a decision to scanning, right? Like the
Right.
first thing you do is you start scanning everything. That's what I do every single system. I just go to my scanners and throw them on everything. But there is a decision to almost everything else in our game. Like once you've scanned a bunch of places, I tend to not jump on exploits. I tend to think carefully about which place I'm going to exploit, because I'm usually only going to exploit like 1 or 2 places in a system. If we had a similar sort of decision tree to our scanning, it would probably slow down that fast click process. There might be other ways to do it on top of factions, but the faction stuff could help with that for sure.
Yeah. Ugh, agrarian. Every time I see you and I see you have a hydroponic zone, I'm like, ugh, flavor loss.
Skip that
Face
shit.
one. Well, I mean, it's like agrarian hydroponics. It should work. Ah, why did I make it exploit? I'm so stupid.
It should work, but
It
also,
sucks at
who needs
design.
food? Food is so plentiful in our universe right now.
Seems
It really is.
seems bad.
Flavor loss. Or flavor, too much flavor. Yeah. I didn't even look at what my capital or my flagship can do. Whoops.
Nothing.
It's got a hanger. Okay. Power thing is legitimate.
I'm taking bugs. I remember that. Yeah. Tell me about bugs.
No, you.
Otherwise, I'm watching Brandon.
It's a super low priority bug, and so I don't even want to track it. But I will say that there are some jumps where Fleet View is appropriately centered, and then there are some jumps where Fleet View is not appropriately centered. It's
Really?
very weird to me.
Correct.
What?
So if you go to Fleet View right now, which I know is a button you never click. Oh, see, now it's correct, but when you first jumped into the system, it wasn't correct. Oh, I
Maybe
think
it's because of where my mouse was positioned.
no, I think it's the where the camera does on the game start is different than where it goes when you press the Fleet View.
Ah.
And one is centered and one is not.
So jump in camera is different than Fleet View camera.
Yeah, game start jump in.
So the first jump when the game starts you in Fleet View, it's slightly different than the.
That's
I
funny.
bet the Fleet View setting, like what we've set over time, what we've set Fleet View to be, and what that transition back to it is different than what game start was set to.
Yep.
Okay, I'm probably 3 in that and knocking it into the backlog. Sorry, Carl.
No, that's exactly what I wanted you to do.
You have been Zard.
Bugzard.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not gonna lie, it's still a little weird. Oh god, my fleet sucks.
You've got so many military ships. You should just hyper exploit
exploit.
everything. Who needs
Yeah.
metal? Metal's not useful, right?
I mean, I just upgrade my my first goal is to upgrade my fuel factory before I forget and then lose the game.
Yeah. Fuel factory is required to get
Yeah,
to the
'cause-
end.
Because if you like forget, it's just oh wait a second, do I have a long range scanner in this fleet? I don't. I lose. Okay.
Oh
Whoops.
no!
I did the
You're on
thing.
day 2 and you
I
haven't
did-
started building your long range scanner.
I did the thing. I forgot. We bad. Ugh, God.
That's hilarious.
Might as well just reroll at this point. I fucking lost.
Oh my god.
Find the metal.
Oh wait, you
We
know what?
should-
I have a bold gambit. I'm a steal later. Bold gambit jump 1. Watch
We
me roll
should-
them bones.
We should guarantee a long range
Yes,
scanner
we
on the
should.
flagship so that
Yeah.
we
Can
don't
we-
have to
can-
worry
can
about
we
it for
just-
the draft.
Can we
Can-
write that?
Yeah, can we add that like literally for the sprint, please?
Yeah.
Alright.
Also.
Try
Alright.
0.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so.
Oh crap! Why did I close?
It's been too
Oh,
long since I played. It's like this should be. Oh, I'm just. I can't. Alright, we're bold gambiting.
You're screwed.
Lost something.
How many things did I lose? Hey, look, my survivors went up.
No. Did it?
Sorry.
It went up by like 2,000.
No,
Why
it
did
did
it-
not. It went
It
down.
totally did. It went from 6,000 to 8,000.
No, it went 9. We're already at 9.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
look, man. I only work in like sub 100 digit range for math. All right. Can I concede? Is that a thing I can do?
And can I add you to this bug?
Which one is it?
We're gonna
The
bulk
long
game
range
again?
scanner on
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah, that's easy
We're
enough.
so good.
It's prize
Bold
zero.
Gambit again.
The double bold gambit. Not
Did you
even
lo-
punished on
Did
the
you
second
lose
one.
any? You didn't get punished.
No, dude. Pro strats.
I
Place.
Fucking player skill.
this is like when you go to poker and you put in all your chips on the first
Yeah, I
hand.
need a
Yeah.
broad spectrum scanning right now because I.
Have you even started building your long range?
No, I don't have enough metal, dude.
Oh, you don't? Oh,
He
I
hasn't
know.
he's trying to
Screwed.
exploit anything
You
to
are
actually get
so
metal.
Screwed.
Well, because I was like, these are all barren planets. I need to find something with
A
molten.
bunch of them had metal on them.
Yeah, but they have. It's 160
There you go.
to build a scanner.
92 metal there.
That's a lot of metal. Yeah, that guy on Steam who was like, I don't know how to get past jump 2. I'm like, I get it now, man.
Yeah. That's one
You
of
need
those.
2
goals.
bold gambits to get past jump 2.
Yeah. Here's how you do it. The Brandon Cadden guide to In Search of a Home.
And
Hit
there you
bold-
go. We've
Hit
done
bold
2
gambit twice.
bold gambits and haven't got a crash. So we're
That's
still
true.
we're still at that point of going, why? Don't know.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm moving that to 3.
Yeah, so I know for talking to my buddy Nick, who is a QA tester, so I'm hoping that he eventually just gets a thorn in his side and wants to go and figure out how to regrow it.
planet has so much. Holy shit.
But
Get all of that.
it's doing other stuff in the system first and then bold gambiting. And
Oh, I've
that'll
never
do it.
done that. I thought it was related to saving. So I did jump, save, load, bold gambit, and that worked fine.
No, because the thing is when they load the save, if they load the save game and then immediately bold gambit, they're fine.
That
So
works.
it's doing something while inside a system, and you just get in a state where bold gambit triggers a crash.
That moment when you're fleet and you have the same mood.
Unease.
Unease. No.
Oh,
straight
worried.
Worried.
You're
Oh shit! I
screwed.
forgot.
You gotta run it.
God damn it! Ah, it's all a mess.
It is. There's no way, right? 7 hours. Yeah, you don't have enough time. You just lost.
No, we good.
Wait, there's a level below worried?
Yeah.
I didn't
yeah,
even know
hopeless.
that.
What?
Oh my god. I mean,
You've
I haven't lost-
obviously never tried making a run while you've bold gambited and lost a ship. Or two.
Yeah, I haven't lost this game in a long time. Like
Well, let me
weeks.
tell you, bold gambit is the only way you lose ships. So, and as a what the fuck? No,
Belay
how
that.
get out of my face.
Belay it all. Oh my god, you're worried. Can you celebrate? You have so much
Yeah.
food. Celebrate.
Yeah,
Good
I don't
times,
have
come
much
on.
metal though, and my oh, the celebration is on my scanner. Ah! Why is this run just falling apart? This is Legends of Runeterra. What? How do you even play? Oh, God.
And this is why Brandon and Will need to be our streamers.
Ugh.
Brandon
Alright,
needs to
okay.
do a stream called How Not to Draft.
I need to do a stream called How to Draft.
Did you ever notice the gating, by the way, Brandon?
I did. It helped.
Okay. It worked. Cool.
Never worked. Excuse me. Yeah. Did you know that having 4 ships kind of sucks?
Yep.
Boy, howdy.
I mean, it's less fuel for jumping. You could jump you can get 4 jumps without refining fuel right now.
I do have 4 jumps. I think it's time to just keep jumping, but these factions are gonna own me. I think I have one more belay that order though. I think. Where did that ship? Was that the ship that exploded? Oh my god, stop.
Fully scan everything. Well, at least it's not a huge.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
I'm so
What is this
scared.
system?
It's misery.
And everyone is indifferent.
Oh, wait. If I reckless exploit this, does it fully scan it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Do it.
see you later. Alright, cool. Woo! Woo! God, this game, man. Why you gotta do it to me? Well, I mean, I did mess up really hard in the first system, so I guess
You
I know
really
why.
did.
I think. Should I dismantle this hangar? Am I ever exploiting more than one thing at a time? No, because I don't have. Yeah, I don't have another set of scanners. So, all right, my fleet is now content.
Was that your only hangar?
No.
No,
Okay.
He
I
has
have,
2 hangers.
Yeah, I have 2 hangars.
Man, you got back up to content. I'm impressed.
Dude, we
Oh,
tried.
look at all
We
that.
tried out here.
Scanned it all. Succeed.
Reckless exploit a barren planet? Sure.
Now you've got heck and gas. You're
What's
set.
this is Legion. Oh, wait, they're indifferent? Okay. I am not considering risking that. Oh, wait, this guy needs the long range scan as well. Well, you know what? Might as well pop off a party again. Because. I think. Do I have
think
a level
you
2
just-
hydroponics?
Are you reckless exploiting?
I
He
am.
is reckless exploiting a planet he already exploited.
Or he already scanned? Oh,
Uh-huh.
no. You're right. He is.
He already
Yeah, I know.
exploited that
I'm
planet.
doing
He's
it
just like,
because that thing's an indifferent, and I don't want to be held hostage by it for the rest of the game.
Oh my god.
I know. These are the deep cuts. We got
I think
4
that is
ships.
a bad choice, but I'm
I think
curious
you're
to see.
bad.
if it
Look,
works
man,
or
I'm
not.
about to win a run with 4 ships. Come at me. I bull gambited twice. Oh shit, I forgot.
oh no, but you're content. That's pretty
This
wild.
is the long range deterioration.
Oh god, sleep deprivation is a real problem. Over caffeination is also a problem. But I think I'm a much more entertaining streamer when I'm sleep deprived, so you know.
The Brandon Payne train is the best stream.
Oh god. I need
It's
some
the only
caffeine.
thing that makes that golf game bearable.
Scan everything. Let's do it. No, only one.
Oh, thank God. Why would you even try to jinx me like that? Let's see. Can build. Nope, can't build shit. Nope, okay.
Nope. 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 Nope.
I'll make more gas. Or more fuel, excuse me. I'll turn my gas into. Why not? And now here's the real question. Should I actually be able to win this game? Given all of my misplays. Is that I actually need food.
Wow, what have you been doing that makes you need food?
I've used Grand Celebration 4 times this game.
Oh, that's
So-
right. You've been being depressed because you forget to do stuff. Wow, you're already at jump 7? You are
man,
gonna
I'm gonna-
win this game.
I told you I'm gonna win this one.
Ugh.
So does that
See-
mean we have to add an obesity rating for population? The more you grand celebrate, the more obese
Too
your
much
population gets?
celebrating.
I mean, I think
No.
a house might not like that. Which one's the? Oh, the side nod of Jotham might be like harumph. I need to
I
be
think
more
if you
pious.
do enough grand celebrations, you get extra propulsion, vomit propulsion.
You really are a father now. The way you think about. It's kind of gross. Never mind. I'm gonna stop. I'm getting.
That's
grossed
just
out.
conservation of energy and space, man.
Same. What was I supposed to do? Reckless X Wood Barren Planet. Sure. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't want to spend that much time with this system. We already
Yeah.
invested earlier.
You're totally gonna win. That is one of the problems I think with our game is that there is like a very clear thing that you fall over where you're like, nothing can stop me now.
Don't stop me now.
I mean, I feel like, and maybe this is just my feeling of roguelikes, but you sort of end up with that tipping point for a while in a lot of roguelikes on good runs. But we do need we do need the stuff that sort of like comes up late game that sort of is the teleporting liches or whatever.
Yeah, things that provide that risk reward.
Yeah, I think we'll see how you guys feel. Holy shit, I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
Not me personally, I mean my fleet.
Too real.
I think I think the faction stuff can provide a lot of that tension. Really, I'm just saying that the faction system that Will and I designed yesterday is just
solves everything.
It's just the panacea to all of our problems.
No, I think you're right, Carl, but only with long roguelikes. Like if a roguelike is going to take you 5 hours to play, the first hour is usually where the random deaths happen, and then the last 4 hours are where you can kind of like be pretty confident you're going to play the game okay. Which our game may be at some point, but it's not yet, so it feels weird.
It's not yet, and well, it should. As I said, should be over 2 hours for a lot of the runs.
But like, I don't think it's the case with Slay the Spire, for instance. Shorter roguelike. Feels pretty tight the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, the question is like, on a scale of Slay the Spire to Darkest Dungeon, how hard do we actually want to be?
Well, and I think it's also partially that we haven't gone down the faction path we've talked about, because we've talked about where the challenge exists shifting, where initially it's building your resource engine and making sure that you have everything you need to be able to deal with space. And then after that, it is how do you keep everybody in line and keep people working together well and so on and so forth. And we don't really have the tools yet to make that transition with challenge set changes.
Yeah.
Can someone put a bug in? So when you got that event at minus 500 population,
yes,
your morale didn't go down from it. Like there was nothing show. Every time you're losing, like when you're losing population, a lot of times your morale's not going down, or even showing it going down.
You're right.
That would be a big problem.
Well, we should test it, but it may be because I don't think the morale pop-up shows up unless there is enough of a loss to actually trigger a number change.
A state change.
Like an integer change. So like if your morale goes down by like 0.6, I don't think it does the pop-up. But if it goes down by 2, it does. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It might be that 500 is on that threshold, so we might test against that.
Yeah, we should test against that.
I need House to chill the fuck out.
Nope. Scan everything, dude.
Alright, how many house ships do I have?
You probably have each
I have one.
One of each of those.
Alright, well.
Sorry, House.
Okay.
I mean, it's not going to mutiny, but
Not yet. What jump am I on? I'm on jump 10. Well, I'm pretty close to winning, so we're okay.
Yeah, you're guaranteed.
See, like there, the minus 500. I wonder if EF 500 is weirdly less than 1 point of morale, which seems wrong.
Does definitely seem wrong.
Yeah, that seems pretty wrong.
Actually, I could easily find out.
Well, actually, I just lost 600 population, and I still didn't
Drop
Yeah,
out of
maybe
hopeful.
it's just not working.
Maybe I'm just very hopeful.
I don't think that, Brandon.
Let's look at hopeful.
Not.
Morale loss.
I lost like okay, I won. Hey, the double bold gambit start for get long range scanner 8 times win.
Yeah, that should not have been a win.
It's a pretty low
Player
score
skill.
though, honestly.
Player skill.
I feel like the best scenario.
Oops.
Goodbye, Will.
I feel like the best scenario is Will crashes. To get rich, you only have to do this one thing, Crash.
Yeah. Base.
Am
I
I
think
here
that.
now?
You're
Yeah,
here
Good to
now.
see you back.
I was gonna say we should record every time we make fun of Brandon, and then we should make notes about that and have the factions make fun of players when they make the same mistakes.
It's true. I'm gonna put it in that the morale loss per population loss is just totally not working sometimes, because 500 population loss should drop you 5 like
Oh, that's
5 morale.
significant.
Yeah.
Weird. It should be easy to test because you can go
Yeah.
into the cheat menu and just lower your morale manually, and it should trigger the image.
Yeah.
It should be really easy to test that guy. Anyways, I put it as a pry tube.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Okay.
That's prize 0.
Did we want me to play test more? Or...
No, that should be good.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we can cut stream here and then move into design time.
Yeah.
Dope.
Cool. So thanks again, as always, for you guys joining us and supporting
Thank
us.
you.
It means a ton. And we will catch you guys tomorrow. Bye.